draft.
Being able to travel and work out at the same time. I think that's been the biggest, as far as the interviews.
Deshaun Watson talking.
Part, but traveling and trying to find time to work out and be balanced is the hard part.
Now in the last hours in the countdown, what's communication been like with any of these teams?
I have no idea. I haven't had my phone on me, so I have no idea. My agent's probably talking to somebody, but me, I'm just relaxing, trying to not think about it and just enjoy the night.
How about you? Have you heard anything?
Nothing. It's been silent. It's gonna be a big mystery. We don't know what's about to go on, and yeah. So it's a waiting game, like I said.
Well, we can't wait to find out. Look forward to seeing you both on the stage tonight.
So yeah, guys.
Trey.
All right, Susie, thanks. So Deshaun Watson is in the
For me right now, I got only one of these wild card things. I got the number 2. Hoping we can get a quarterback out of it. That's all I'm wishing right now. Or, well, actually, not just that. I think I'd like a cornerback wouldn't be bad. A safety wouldn't be bad.
Finding people that had the right experience.
No, sorry, there's a commercials on now. Okay. I'm on ESPN right now. Defensive end would be nice for me. Yeah. So if we can get one of those, that would be pretty nice. You know what I mean? Oh. Uh-oh. Let's not start this off with some lag. So I think we might be able, I think we might be starting now with the stuff. Let's see, so those guys haven't done anything yet. Freaking Corona videos. Alright. Let's see. Worst defense case scenarios. 94s. Worst level. P30. P42. P20. I think that's who I might be going against. Alright. Just trying to get this Gronk. I doubt I'm going to get it when the NFL draft's going. Dude, I can't wait. I'm hoping the 49ers can get someone good. I'm hoping for the Lions to pick up Taco Charlton. If they can pick up Taco Charlton, I think we're going to be fine. Because I feel like Solomon's going to be already picked up. And Taco's from Michigan, so... Oh, dang. Oh, I got some lag. Alright, you know what? No. What? I threw the freaking ball. There we go. You should be able to catch that. No! Dang it! Dude, come on. Starting this off without winning anything. I get a webcam going.
Like the new fresh mozzarella chicken sandwich and salad, made with fresh chopped produce, freshly grilled chicken, and of course, fresh mozzarella cheese. So try Wendy's new fresh mozzarella chicken sandwich and salad today. I'm hyped.
A very special guest.
My boy is hyped.
And the one and only.
Everybody's hyped.
The man that needs no introduction.
Kick that music. Come on.
Conor McGregor keeps telling everybody he wants to fight. Let's make that.
Come on. There are 100 million plus.
There we go. That's better. Not that good, but whatever. Counts as something.
Something is wrong with you. The debate starts here. First thing, weekdays at 10 on
Alright. I'm just gonna put it in the top right. Even though there's that bar, but whatever. It works. I don't know, I did something. Okay, there we go. That's a little better.
Limited commercial interruption on the first hour thanks to Courtyard
Alright, so the first hour, guys, no commercial interruptions.
Of the Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Alright, guys, 4 more minutes to see who the Browns are going to pick. I think it's going to be kind of obvious now, but
To put that in perspective,
who knows, right?
9,596 that would fit inside Lincoln Financial Field. They are ready to have a good time. So what's going to happen? Let's go out to Adam Schefter and Chris Mortensen. Guys, what are you hearing about the latest buzz and potential trades before the draft starts?
Well, Trey, we've heard about teams wanting to move back. The
But for some
49ers
reason, people are
have got
thinking
calls
that
to move
maybe
back. The Bears are considering moving back from
the
number
49ers
three,
might be
and
moving
everybody's
back.
wondering,
And if
now that the
so, I'm
Browns are
hoping they
going
might pick
down
up
to one,
like
if they'll come back up
Patrick
and try to go
Mahomes.
get
That's
Mitchell
a big
Trubisky.
arm.
You didn't mention this week that we could see 2 quarterbacks taken in the top 10. I think teams are thinking there might be 3 quarterbacks taken
On the
within
clock,
first
one more
2
minute.
hours once the draft begins. And there are teams who are looking to come from even back in the bottom of the first round. Like Kansas City is talking to teams up there to make a big move up. We're not sure it's for a quarterback, but there's definitely going to be some action here, Trey.
Alright, let's just
once we
do
get
some of
rolling.
this.
All right, Adam, Mort, thanks very much. Look, we are all about action. There ain't no question about that. Everybody here has this palpable sense of anticipation. Very soon, young men's lives are about to change. They'll walk across that podium and hear their name called for the first time as an official member of the National Football League. The question then becomes, which team and which name will be called first? The name is as good as your game, and the draft begins now.
The draft has now begun. This is the last commercial. Oh, it's Deshaun Watson. Okay.
No one makes it to the stage on their own. The family whose name you now carry upon your shoulders are the people who carried you on this journey. This moment is as much about where you've been as where you are headed tonight. Think back to how it all began. That first pass.
Alright,
That first pair
here we
of
go,
cleats.
guys. And the clock has now begun. Where is it? I lost it.
In all those memories, something more important calls out, echoing through all your achievements. Listen. Do you hear a mother cheering? A father coaching? An entire family uplifting you to something better?
Oh,
Workout. And every autograph you sign, we have been right there with you. The biggest collisions of
Mark
player faces are
Bork.
always on the field.
chop.
And you have never faced them alone. In those moments, you have continued to
There we go.
rise
There we go.
and
Yes.
prove yourself. Not to the critics, not to the teams who
Yo,
are
not to the
calling you
critics,
now,
guys.
but to yourself and the younger you, who first fell in love
He
with
dropped
the
the top
game
10 picks
and the people who
as
have
they are
been there on
drafted
your
in packs
sidelines
as well
all
as
along.
live events.
But when you step upon those stairs in Philly, we will be there with you, next to you, forever
Okay.
a part of you. Whether it's the name you were given, the name you carry forward, or the name you pass on when you are called tonight, it'll be more than just your name being announced
Into
before
the
you.
obstacle course to do that.
It will be the names of all the people who got you there. But never forget, it was you who carried us.
Dang it, dude, the draft night's 750.
The 2017
Ah.
NFL Draft, presented by Gronk.
Joking.
And let the circus begin. On a beautiful April night in Philadelphia, the Ben Franklin Parkway is packed. And anticipation for football fans everywhere is at an all-time high as the 2017 NFL Draft is finally here.
Alright, it's here, guys.
Here to find out where their team will go to make their team better. And on April 9th, which is the unofficial opening to the start
Deshaun Watson is here from Clemson. Will he be the first quarterback off the board? What about North Carolina's Mitchell Trubisky? Is it possible still he might go #1 overall to his hometown, Cleveland Browns, a former Mr. Football in the state of Ohio? Also potentially at #1, there he is, Myles Garrett, the defensive end out of Texas A&M at the NFLPA Players Debut Party in Arlington, Texas. Our exclusive look with him. We will find out just moments from now. Where else would you rather be? Welcome in to the 2017 draft. Trey Wingo here with Lewis Riddick, John Gruden, Mel Kiper Jr. We'll get to what happens ahead in just a minute, but first a note. For almost 4 decades, the man sitting in this seat was named Chris Berman. He made the draft fun. He made it an event. He made it interesting and entertaining. And boom, in your honor, we're going to keep that tradition going tonight and as long as we continue to do this draft. It is going to be a spectacular evening, Mel. When you look at this draft, the first things that come to your mind are what?
Quarterbacks and defensive players. Think about how quarterback-driven this league is. I got Mitch Trubisky at 20. I got Patrick Mahomes at 27. Deshaun Watson at 35. Deshaun Kaiser at 61. And we're talking about them getting majorly overdrafted. I have 4 defensive players at the top of the board, led by Myles Garrett, defensive end, Texas A&M. Then Jonathan
So I'm
Allen,
guessing
defensive line, Alabama. Jamal Adams,
49ers are drafting down.
Sullivan Thomas, defensive line.
I'm sorry if you can hear that in the background.
Players like O'Shea Howard, tight end, Alabama, and Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette, the 2 running backs. But the quarterbacks will be overdrafted. All I know is Florida is one of the greatest football towns on the planet. 80,000 people to see Mel.
Alright, well,
Maybe like 75,000.
No kidding. You know what? I'm looking at the specialty players. I'm looking at the perimeter players. I love the running backs in this draft, the guys who can affect third down. And
I'm sure all said some really important things. Didn't hear a word. The crowd is red. The commissioner's heading to the podium. It's time to get this party started.
alright, here we go, guys.
Good evening and welcome to the NFL Draft. Come on, Philly, come on. There you go. We are thrilled to be back here in Philadelphia, where the first draft was held nearly 80 years ago. So tonight, we celebrate the great game that we all love. And we celebrate as NFL dreams come true. So it sounds like you're ready. Are you ready? The NFL Draft for 2017 is officially open. The Cleveland Browns are on the clock.
Alright, guys, we're on the clock now. Pretty sure they're going to draft.
Well, it is underway, and the Cleveland Browns are on the clock, and they've had their struggles since they came back into the league in 1999. They find themselves at the top of the draft position, and it's not been great. Since 1999, they have a .306 winning percentage. 88 wins with an even 200 losses. They've reached the postseason exactly once, losing to divisional rival Pittsburgh in 2002. 26 different starting quarterbacks over that time frame. And then they hired Hugh Jackson. They've had 9 head coaches in the last 19 seasons. Hugh Jackson led them to a 1-15 finish last year. This is the 3rd time they've had this honor since 1999. That first year, they went with Tim Couch, quarterback out of Kentucky. Did not go as planned. The very next year, they had that draft pick. Courtney Brown in 2000, that did not go well. This is actually the 5th time, guys, since 2011, they've had 2 first-round picks. Joe Thomas started with a home run. The rest of them, being kind, not so great. They're really 1 for 8. And now they're on the clock with the first of their 2 picks in the round. They have 1 and 12. We think it's Myles Garrett. Would that turn around this tide, in your opinion?
I think when you look at the Cleveland Browns, and I think where they are right now is because of not taking Carson Wentz last year. They got a little cute. What they got to do is stop accumulating picks and start taking players like a quarterback, but don't reach for one. There was talk today they were going to take Mitch Trubisky #1, but that was crazy. How are you going to pass up Myles Garrett? They're going to do that. You trade down, but you don't take a quarterback at 1. They pick at 12. They can try to get back up into the top 6 to get Trubisky, who's number 20 on my board. I am sick and tired of hearing people criticize Myles Garrett and his lack of effort. Okay, I heard the same thing in 2002 about Julius Peppers. All he does is have 143.5 career sacks. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's soft. He's a basketball player. Takes downs off. Doesn't play hard. Myles Garrett, he clips what Jadeveon Clowney did as a freshman. Had a great sophomore year with 19.5 tackles for loss and 12.5 sacks. He was banged up this year. They still had production. Yet we heard all this criticism like he's not even one of the best 50 players in the daggone draft. Get real. Myles Garrett deserves to be the #1 pick overall.
Mel, it's a long night. It's a long night.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what, there's 2 players that we're talking about at the top of this draft that would address 2 positions that have really just haunted this franchise since you keep talking about since 1999. 26 different starting quarterbacks since 1999. That's unheard of. When you talk about defensive players, and you talk about Myles Garrett, and you talk about pass rush, which on the defensive side of the ball is where it all starts, but they've only had 3 players since 1999 have eclipsed double-digit sacks since that time. So the 2 guys who we're talking about at the top of this draft, that all the speculations surrounding, hey, those are 2 guys that right now would address 2 of the things that have haunted this franchise since 1999. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out if the passionate one gets his guy or the team gets the quarterback that they need.
Hey, I'm interested in quarterbacks, as you know, but I want a quarterback of the defense. That's why I like Jamal Adams out of LSU, right here with the first pick of the draft. I think he's the best player in this draft. He can call the defenses. He can line them up and knock them down. And then later in the first round, go get you a quarterback for your offense. They're in a great position to get 2 dynamic leaders on both sides of the ball. Don't be so mad. It's interesting, John. If they do that, obviously he'd be the highest drafted safety ever. The Browns actually already have that distinction, taking Eric Turner 2nd overall in 1991. But let's talk more about Myles Garrett. Obviously, you like him. Take us through the tape.
Well, it seems like you got to keep defending this guy. I keep hearing all this negativity about Myles Garrett. He wasn't 100%. Yeah, did he pace himself in games when he had 100 plays in college football? Yes, he did. Can't you pick apart some of the, say, so-called lack of effort? You can with every defensive end. The same thing, as I said, in 2002 about Julius Peppers, who had a great career. You watch him bend the edge. I think he's on the ground. He's like a speed skater coming around that corner. He can play like no other when he is at 100% physically. And he wasn't this year. This kid's 6'4.5", 272 pounds, incredibly long arms, huge hands, ran a 4.6 4.40, 33 reps in the weight room, shows he'll work hard to improve that upper body strength, which was tremendous at the end of his career. And he had a 41-inch vertical. When you have cornerbacks or wide receivers with a vertical of 41 and a 10.8 broad jump. My point for the last month has been he can be as good as he wants to be. You say, well, anybody can be as good as he wants to be. No, they can't, because they don't have freakish talent like Myles Garrett. And if he wants to be great, he can be great. And I think when you look at Myles Garrett, you say, well, is he focused on football? He has other interests. So what? He's a multi-dimensional kid. He's a great kid. He reads novels. He's into dinosaurs, paleontology, okay? He's well-rounded into music, Journey, Hall & Oates, Motown. I mean, what's not to like about a kid who has interest beyond football?
Nothing. I'm worried about you going through the entire night. So can we get Mel a towel? John, what about you? Hey, I think he's got all the talent in the world. He's a genetic freak. But he's not the best player in this draft. And don't tell me effort isn't important. He needs to study Robert Mathis, the ex-Indianapolis Colt. Read on the rush, chase the back down. I don't care if you have to go 40 yards. Go
hunt that back. Some of the great plays that are made in this league are the ones nobody knows about. Straight to get to the ball. That's what I want to see more from Garrett. There's just too many plays now where he doesn't cut loose the 4.6 speed. He can make this play if he turns it all on. There's just too many lapses. These are not the only two plays. This is too consistent in his play. Effort needs to pick up for him to truly maximize all these talents. He has a ton of talent. On short yardage and goal line, I just see him skimming the edge. He's not a factor on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, and he can improve at the point of attack. Hand usage, stance mechanics, pad level. He can be better in all these areas. He's got to buy into Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, to be a great one, but he sure is talented.
Well, I'll tell you what, you just mentioned a name right now that's going to play a pivotal role if he's drafted by the Cleveland Browns, and that's Greg Williams. Because I can tell you this, Mel, guys who don't want to, you won't want to play for Greg Williams because he will make you want to give it to him all of the time. Look, it's always about consistency. Consistency of effort, consistency of preparation, consistency of love for the game.
Already
There's no
in.
question
Who's
he's a
it going to
freak.
be?
But if you don't have consistency of effort and want to in preparation, you won't last very long.
The pick is in. Let's go to Commissioner Goodell. With the first pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Myles Garrett, defensive end, Texas A&M.
Alright, well, that was kind of annoying. Number 1 pick was Myles Garrett. Makes sense.
So in the end, the commissioner and Cleveland side with Mel. You mentioned his interests, Mel. They're interesting. Myles Garrett, he is decidedly old school. Marvin Gaye, Anita Baker, loves the old Motown. He writes poetry in his spare time. He says he finds it freeing. He absolutely loves dinosaurs. He almost went to Ohio State over the Aggies because they have the 2nd best paleontology program in the country. And his brother, Sean Williams, was the 17th overall pick in the 2007 NBA draft. By the way, lather, rinse, repeat here as you see the reaction from Myles Garrett at the NFLPA player debut party, the number 1 overall pick. It's the 5th time in the last 11 drafts that an SEC player goes number 1 off the board.
You think about the Cleveland Browns, Carl Nassib, Emmanuel Ogba, 2 kids going into their 2nd year, showed promise as a first-year performer coming off the edge. Now you add Garrett to that group of pass rushers in the division with Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Flacco, and Andy Dalton. So for Cleveland Browns now, the challenge is to use that 12th pick, get back up in there, and get Mitch Trubisky if they feel he's the best quarterback in the draft. They cannot come out of this draft without a quarterback. They went for Cody Kessler in the 3rd round last year. Didn't work out yet. He doesn't have the arm necessary to be an effective starter, in my opinion. RG3 didn't work out. Hassel and Carson Wentz didn't work out because he's showing big-time promise in Philadelphia. They got to hit on a quarterback at some point. Now or not too distant future, which means today or tomorrow, but you can't get cute. If they feel Trubisky was worthy of being in this discussion to be number 1, then they have to go back up and get him.
And there you see Hall of Famer Bruce Smith there handing him the Cleveland Browns jersey. So the Browns, as it stands right now, will pick again at 12, but there has already been a trade. San Francisco and Chicago.
To the Bears? No.
It is now the Chicago Bears on the clock. For more on this, let's go to Adam Schefter. Adam, what can you tell us?
Dang it.
Trey, the 2 teams have been talking about this deal all afternoon. The 49ers wanted to move back to accumulate as many picks as possible. This is a move that was worth 400 points on the draft chart. The Bears come up to number 2. The player they've been eyeing all along has been Solomon Thomas from Stanford. The 49ers now get to move back, and if they have their druthers, they're not done moving back just yet. They're open for business, listening to offers, and they'd like to get more picks, but Solomon Thomas is the guy to watch here, Trey.
All right, Adam, thanks. And there you see a smiling Solomon Thomas. Perhaps he knows, and what he's heard, that this might be a situation where
see if
Solomon
there's
Thomas
people at the
goes
Mount
2
Garrett
overall,
yet.
but not to San Francisco, but to Chicago. Guys, when you look at Solomon Thomas and Chicago, does that make sense?
I think it does. I think this is a guy who can play inside as a great technique, incredible strength, really athletic football player. I think you look at the Bears, a lot of good young players. Leonard Floyd was a good first-round pick last year. Came on, Kwiatkowski at inside linebacker. Think about the personnel they've accumulated on the front seven in particular. Now you add a Solomon Thomas to that group. I think he'd be a nice addition.
All right, guys, hold on. We'll get more on Solomon Thomas in Chicago in a minute. But as we said, our Randy Moss has been at the NFLPA player debut party in Arlington, Texas with Myles Garrett, and he's got the number 1 overall on the pick in the draft right now. Randy, take it away.
Appreciate it, guys. Myles, a lot of anticipation, a lot of nervousness. First overall pick. Bruh, how you feeling?
I feel great. I mean, this is me achieving just one of my goals onto many, many more, but it was just great having all my family and friends surrounding me and cheering for me.
You got a great core behind you. You know, one thing, the city of Cleveland, the organization, you know they need to hear from you. So what is the message?
Big things are coming. I didn't just come up, my whole family come up, and I have all of them behind me. I can't let them down, and I won't let them down. And y'all are going to be my family too soon, so we're going to have something change right away.
It's a family affair. I'm with you. Well, look, you got 3 quarterbacks in your division. You got Big Ben, Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton. Which one of those quarterbacks do you look forward to meeting first?
Big Ben.
Big Ben.
Big Ben. He's a Super Bowl winner, and I always heard he's hard to take down, so I'm coming for him first, chop him down.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it, man. Well, make sure you pack your lunch. Trey, I'm with the 2017 first overall pick, man. Myles Garrett. Back to you, Trey.
All right, Randy, thanks. Myles, thanks. I'm not sure who was more excited there, Myles or Randy Moss, to be with the number 1 overall pick. Because remember, Randy had to wait a long time to hear his name called in 1998, or 1999 rather. Okay, so guys, let's talk about the Chicago Bears and what's going on here with the Chicago Bears.
Hey, 2 minutes on the clock.
For a lot of reasons, a defensive player, potentially Solomon Thomas, would make a lot of sense if you look at what the Chicago Bears have had to do defensively over the last few years. A team notoriously known for being the monsters of the Midway and all this stuff. You look at last year, points per game they gave up, dead last, 26 points. Yards per rush, dead last in the NFL, 4.6, and yards per attempt, near dead last. This would certainly seem to indicate that they have to go defense. John, do you like Solomon Thomas here?
I really do. He's played in a 3-4 defense.
So I'm getting a Solomon Thomas, dude. I don't know about that.
This is a defense that has Eddie Goldman playing nose tackle, Leonard Floyd, Pernell McPhee coming off the edge. I think Solomon Thomas is one of the best inside pass rushers in this draft. He's versatile enough to play right end or left end in their base defense. He's strong. He's got great energy. He's the leader of the Stanford football team. That'd be a great pick for Chicago.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that when you talk about versatility, not just being able to move inside and play a 3 technique in sub, meaning when they have 4 down linemen, but even in their base 3-4, I don't know if he's necessarily a great fit to play 3-4 defensive end, but if you watch this guy's combine workout, when he stood up in the 2-point, this guy looks as good as linebackers moving around from the 2-point stance. So he's a guy who you can see playing for Pernell McPhee's position. You can see
See who it is in a second.
Any number of positions in what is a very creative 3-4 type of scenario here. So yeah, he fits, but he fits in a number of different positions. He's not your prototype 3-4 defensive player, but he is a very multiple type of player.
All right, Lewis, thanks. Real quickly, let's give you the details of the trade if we can right now. Again, Chicago traded with San Francisco to move up 1 place. San Francisco gets a 3rd overall pick, a 3rd and a 4th, and a 2018 3rd-round pick. So they pick up quite a few. Meanwhile, the pick is in. Let's go to Commissioner Goodell.
With the 2nd pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Mitchell Trubisky.
Yes! Yes! Holy crap! Oh! Wow! So I'm getting a Mitch Trubisky?
Things just got interesting. Mitchell Trubisky, hometown Mentor, Ohio, 30
No
miles outside
way.
of Cleveland, was a Mr. Football there. Went to North Carolina,
Mitch
sat behind Marquise
Trubisky,
Williams for a
dude.
few years, got 1 year starting, 13 starts, 8-5 in those 13 starts. The Chicago Bears, who in the offseason paid big money to Mike Glennon to go there and be the quarterback. It's a 3-year deal, but really a 1-year we'll see deal for Mike Glennon at $14 million. And it we may not see, now that they have picked Mitchell Trubisky now, a shocker,
No, is
not
there a way how I
defense,
can
a quarterback.
Well, you talk about
do
a
it now?
quarterback, Ray. He only started 13 games in his career. I thought he needed to go back for another season. What does that quarterback need? He needs time. With Mike Glennon there as the starting quarterback, coming from Tampa Bay.
No, I haven't.
Coming into that program, thinking he could be an effective starting quarterback. Now Mitchell
How you do
Trubisky
that,
is
sir?
afforded the opportunity to learn, watch Glennon, not be forced to be the guy, because then he might have been a bust, and it would have been probably overwhelming for Trubisky to be forced to compete for the starting job. Now, I wouldn't say just redshirt, but certainly learn. And you look at the skill set of Mitch Trubisky, he has the necessary arm strength, very underrated mobility, and he was, in the majority of the games this year, very accurate, not only in the short intermediate areas, but down the field. The struggles against Stanford
Which bundle
was
is it?
alarming in that Sun Bowl. It was the last time we saw him in pads, but Stanford physically dominated. Solomon Thomas had the great game. That was the one game that they put a kind of red flag along that name and said, boy, he needs another year with the Bears for count. Remember, they
Look at that. Mitch Trubisky, I just got him, dude. I'm happy about that.
Who's my quarterback going to be? I think for Glennon to be the quarterback, it's an ideal situation, John, for Mitch Trubisky.
Well, when I spend time with Trubisky, there's a lot to like, but his deep ball accuracy's got to improve. There's just too many shots downfield where the ball is off the field of play, and it's not catchable. Got to correct this. He's got to improve his deep ball accuracy, and in Chicago, that'll be something to keep an eye on.
I think this is one of these situations here where, look, the Chicago Bears knew that other teams were going to be interested in him, and they wanted to sneak up right on behind the Cleveland Browns. They didn't even give the Cleveland Browns a chance to even get the guys that they wanted.
He's got to be more aware in situations. The 2-minute drill, backed up. He had a safety against Georgia. Took another safety the following week against Illinois. And some of the complex blitzes that Stanford gave him caused problems. He's an inexperienced 1-year starter. He's going to take a little bit of time. Donald Loggins, the offensive coordinator, has time to nurture him because of the veteran presence of Mike Glennon, but clearly they're tired of Jay Cutler.
Well, keep a couple of things in mind here. Only one North Carolina quarterback has ever played in the NFL. That's T.J. Yates, and started. But Mitchell Trubisky looking to change that now, and Mitchell Trubisky looking good, standing by with our Susie Colville right now that he's a Chicago Bear.
Mitchell, the Bears traded up for you. How did this play out for you?
It was crazy. I knew I was going to end up where I'm meant to be, and I'm meant to be in Chicago. I was just so thankful for an organization like Chicago to come and get me. It shows that they believe in me, and
anyone know
I can't wait to go to work. I'm going to give it absolutely everything I got for them.
Once the trade happened, was there a call? Was there anything?
No, there was no call. I didn't even think I was going to get picked until the commissioner said my name. So it just came down, and it's a dream come true. It's as surreal as it gets.
Congratulations, Mitchell.
Thank you so much.
3 miles up yet.
All right, Mitchell Trubisky, our check-in with Susie was brought to you by DXL. Bears have not had a Pro Bowl quarterback since Jim McMahon in 1986. It is on now. ESPN's coverage will be commercial-free for the rest of the hour, thanks to Courtyard GMC, Castrol, and Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Garrett and Trubisky are off
Now
the
San
board.
Francisco's going to pick him. It's going to be Solomon.
Yeah. official hotel of the NFL, and I want to remind you that no one's the same without the game. Like Jimmy B, who writes, as a 42-year-old substitute teacher who dominates video game football, what are the odds I could be drafted as a real QB and or middle linebacker in the NFL? Look, Jimmy, I don't know your skill set, but I think we're looking at somewhere around a 0.0% chance. Hang tight until kickoff. I just saved that man's life. I'm a lifesaver.
From the moment you see it, it commands your respect. You can feel its immense power. The only way to master it is to venture inside. Go ahead, dive in. The GMC Sierra. We are professional grade. Step up to GMC with 16% below MSRP on select 2017 Sierra 1500 crew cab vehicles in stock. That's over $9,000 on this Sierra.
These are Vince Wilfork's words of strength. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. Nietzsche. The strong man is strongest when alone.
Independent studies confirm Castrol Edge is 3 times stronger against viscosity breakdown than the other leading motor oils.
Alright, so the pick is in already.
Edge is 3 times stronger than other leading oils. Those oils can't actually be leading. Vince Wilfork.
It's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering.
The galaxy has spoken.
Hang on, buddy.
Man, I really want to get the,
at its best. Now, listen to them explain why.
What do you call it?
Rolling Stone called it a wild summer ride.
Can't think right now. I want to get the,
Epic.
yeah, I'm not even trying to think right now.
It's out of this world.
Good. Wait, it's at a what?
It's metaphorical! Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, rated PG-13, everywhere May 5th.
ESPN's coverage of the 2017 NFL Draft is commercial-free for the rest of the hour. Presented to you by Courtyard, official hotel of the NFL. GMC, we are professional grade. Castrol Edge with fluid titanium technology. And Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in theaters everywhere May 5th.
Back in Philadelphia, it has already been an unbelievable start. San Francisco with the trade from Chicago is now on the clock. The pick is in, and let's go to Commissioner Cadell. What is San Francisco going to do?
With the third pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Solomon Thomas, defensive end, Stanford.
Well, do I get another one?
Sigh of relief for Solomon Thomas, who gets to stay close to where he played his college football at the Farm in Stanford. Hometown of Coppell, Texas, was just outside Dallas. He lived in Australia for 5 years. His first sport was swimming. He learned to swim by body surfing on the Great Barrier Reef. And now he'll try and body surf his way to the opposing quarterbacks as a member of the San Francisco 49ers. He's the nephew of John Thomas, a 4-time Big Ten 400-meter hurdles champion. And the only thing he cares about now is hurdling down those steps. Mel, what do we like about Solomon Thomas?
First of all, I think it's interesting. The 49ers need a quarterback. They said, okay, Cleveland, Chicago, you can have Mitch Trubisky. We'll let you have him. We'll take Solomon Thomas. Another defensive line. They took Aaron Armstead and DeForest Buckner. Defensive line, that's a third-year sophomore with tremendous upper body strength. Really good athlete, had a 35 vertical. But everybody said, well, the Sun Bowl against North Carolina was his only great game. No, it wasn't. He dominated against UCLA. He dominated against
Alright. Now I'm wondering, when are we going to get these picks going? Because I want to get mine. One second, guys. Can we do it yet? No.
stops on the clock. This is a guy who can play multiple positions. You're not going to just see him sit in there at a 4 technique and just get beat on if they run to the 3-4. They're going to put him on some edges. They're going to move this guy around because he's a tremendous athlete. They need guys in the front 7 that can stop the bleeding for this defense. Because last year, every team had their way with them up front, and you can't do anything there. You'll never get the 3rd down if you can't take their 1st and 2nd down. I know you know that because you talk about it. So this is a guy who can help them do that.
Well, they're going to run a defense similar to the one run in Seattle. They have a new defensive coordinator.
Oh. Alright. Let's get back into this now.
Solomon Thomas's game. He is smart, he's in great shape, and he is extremely versatile. I like the pick a lot. I am surprised, however, I thought they'd get a quarterback.
Well, listen, they were up there at the top of the draft because they needed a quarterback, and this is a history-making pick for Stanford University. He is now, Solomon Thomas, the highest non-drafted or non-quarterback drafted out of Stanford at any time. It's been John Elway, it's been Jim Plunkett, those kind of quarterbacks that have gone first overall, as well as Andrew Luck a few years ago in 2012. Solomon Thomas is the first non-quarterback to go this high. He is ready to roll, Solomon Thomas, and it's the 3rd straight year, by the way, that the San Francisco 49ers, albeit with different regimes every year, have picked a defensive end in the 1st pick. So Jacksonville is now on the clock. Time for our GMC professional grade moments. And of course that means with Jacksonville, Tom Coughlin is back to where it all began. You look back to Tom Coughlin, who coached in Jacksonville from 95 to 2002, taking the Jags to 2 AFC championship games. And 4 playoff appearances. After winning 2 Super Bowls, the Giants, Coughlin returned to Jacksonville in January to become the Jaguars' executive VP of football operations, which means everybody's going to have to get there 15 minutes early. You look at Jacksonville and what they did with Tom Coughlin and what they've done since, it ain't great. By the way, this is the 6th straight year that Jacksonville has picked in the top 5, breaking their own record of drafting in the top 5 straight years last year. So they need a little good luck. They bring back the guy that gave them more good luck than anybody coach in franchise history. It's Tom Coughlin. Do we think it's a running back here?
Well, when he first took the Jaguar job, he took Mark Brunell from Green Bay. I'd be surprised if he's not thinking quarterback or feature back right here.
All right, let's go. The pick is in. Let's see where Jacksonville is going with this pick.
With the 4th pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Leonard Fournette.
These are pretty simple. The Trubisky one, that was pretty wow, but otherwise that.
Well, there he is. Number 7 out of LSU is now the 4th overall pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I want to see how good that card is. That's going to be pretty good.
4th overall, Ezekiel Elliott to the Cowboys a year ago, and boy, Jacksonville would love to see Leonard Fournette duplicate the success that Ezekiel Elliott had for the Cowboys. He didn't play in 5 games, incling the Citrus Bowl. He and Christian McCaffrey
the number 2 draft pick went up.
to avoid injury.
I don't know. Now I want to kind of sell
their
it.
future career. He has a 2-year-old daughter, Lyric, and one of the reasons he said that he was going to sit out that bowl because he has to make sure that he's doing the right thing for his family, including his 2-year-old daughter, Lyric, which is all his Instagram and Twitter feed is about pictures of his daughter. He was a bruising, bashing runner at LSU, Mel. What do you see on the tape?
Think about Tom Coughlin. He got Fred Taylor in Jacksonville. Now he has Leonard Fournette in Jacksonville on his 2nd stint there. And you think about Leonard Fournette, number 1 overall player coming out of high school. Here he is going really high up in the NFL draft, 4th overall pick. This past year he had the ankle injury, limited him in terms of games. So there's not as much tread on those tires as you would think. Well, he played 32 games in his career. Holds the LSU school record, averaging 6.2 a carry. Watch him here to stampede defenders in the open field. Powerful runner, can be a workhorse. You're talking about a guy to be 25 carry a game type guy that's kind of a throwback type running back. Fishes out as much punishment as he takes. Real good spin move, stiff one. Watch him here. Oh, bang. I mean, that is steamrolling a defender in the open field. Vision as a runner, I think, is somewhat questionable. Needs more polish as a receiver. Average pass blocker, so he's not nearly as complete as Ezekiel Elliott was last year going to the Dallas Cowboys early. But you think about what Tom Coughlin wants. He wants to run the football. The question mark, though, guys, is the offensive line. There's no offensive line to take this high. This draft is not strong on the offensive line. They're going to have to think about an offensive line that's maybe like Deion Dawkins from Temple or one of the others, like maybe Garrett Bowles flying
guys.
to the early second round, because right now,
Tennessee Titans.
good rookie year, questionable last year. That brick wall doesn't move, John, and that's what that offensive line has had trouble doing, moving anybody off the ball.
Well, it's hot in Jacksonville. I know that. And when you got to tackle this guy as the unblocked defensive back coming down in an 8-man front, Fournette is not who you want to meet. I think he is a rare talent. He can make you miss. He can knock you out. He caught 40 passes. He's not a one-dimensional player. But I think this is a great pick. Tom Coughlin loves big backs. Remember Brandon Jacobs he had in New York.
Yeah, I was in Washington when Tom Coughlin was in New York, and they had Brandon Jacobs and Tiki Barber, and they ran that power and counter about as well as anybody. The Jacksonville Jaguars last year were one of the worst teams in the league in terms of yards per rush after contact. Leonard Fournette specializes in this, but as Mel pointed out, they better address the offensive line because he's not a guy that can prevent negative runs on his own. He needs some wiggle room, and the only way you can give him wiggle room is if the offensive line is better. They're going to have to address it later on in the draft so they get the most out of it.
Well, he certainly doesn't avoid contact. In fact, sometimes he initiates that contact, and as you saw on that tape, that means the defender is on his back. So Leonard Fournette is off the board. DXL takes us down to Susie Culver, standing by with a happy Leonard Fournette.
Well, apparently old school running backs never go out of style. What are you most proud of?
I mean, I'm most proud of my journey, man. Just being here, thanking God each and every day to get me here is a blessing. And, man, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Well, you talk about the journey, and your dad, Big Leonard, he was a great high school running back. How did he help make this moment possible for you?
I mean, my dad, man, he always treated us like as young men since kids. I mean, football, he always pushed us, he supported us. I mean, and that's what I needed.
Best of luck in Jacksonville.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Trey?
All right, Susie, congratulations, Leonard. We appreciate that. And Leonard is one happy man as he's going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He'll help run them out of the top 5 picks in 2018, which is a rut they've been stuck in for 6 straight years. The Tennessee Titans are now on the clock, courtesy of the trade they made with the LA Rams that eventually led the Rams getting to Jared Goff, the #1 overall pick last year. To recap that trade, Tennessee got number 15 and number 76. They traded that to Cleveland. Then they picked number 43, defensive tackle Austin Johnson out of Penn State, and Derrick Henry out of Alabama, the running back. They also got picks number 5 and 100 in this year's draft. The Rams got the #1 for Jared Goff. They picked the tight end, Tyler Higbee, number 110 overall, and wideout Pharaoh Cooper out of South Carolina, 177 a year ago. So that's what set up the Titans where they are. It certainly seems, John, they've got the quarterback, they've got running backs, they've got a great offensive line. They need explosive play on the outside.
They do. Rashard Matthews was their leading receiver last year. Not a lot of people know who he is. I just think they're in a position to get 2 great defensive players now. This is a team, I believe, that is on the rise. The Tennessee Titans. Reuben Foster, middle linebacker from Alabama. Jamal Adams, a great safety from LSU. Both of those players fit Dick LeBeau's scheme perfectly. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a receiver. This is a little high for me.
Yeah, look, they gave up a lot of yards through the air last year. They were absolutely taken apart at the corner position. They signed Logan Ryan in unrestricted free agency, but they need more horses. They need more speed. They need more athletes on the outside. And they have their pick of all the corners right now. And they have the pick of who I believe is the best player in the draft, just like Jamal Adams. They need players who can take over the football game and turn over the football. They need them in the back end throughout the secondary. Let's see what they do here.
Mel?
You can look at the Jonathan Allen, who I think is the best player on the board. But think about needs for this team. A wide receiver, that would be a reach. You think about cornerback Marshawn Lattimore from Ohio State. Tight end O.J. Howard would add that at Arsenal. He's also a great blocker. So a lot of really good options right now for the Tennessee Titans at this particular pick at number 5.
Well, that really gives them a lot of wiggle room. You You know, it gives them a lot of options to go. We talked about what a deep cornerback draft this is. You mentioned that. Would you rather see them go corner or, like you said, the best player you think is out there, Jamal Adams?
Well, if you're truly going BPA, best player available, I don't know how you don't take Jamal Adams here. I don't know how you don't consider a guy like Reuben Foster, you know, his character issues notwithstanding, or not his character issues, this character issues surrounding him. So, like I said, they have a bunch of players that they can choose from here. I don't really think you can go wrong given the types of defensive players that are available here at all three levels of the defense that you could go with.
Troy Polamalu used to wreak havoc for Dick LeBeau. I would love to see Dick LeBeau get a young safety like Jamal Adams. I think that's the pick.
Well, we'll find out in just a few seconds because we are trying to get an artistic pick here. It is the Franklin Institute right here, and that's where all the picks are coming in to all the teams. And remember, the draft is as much art sometimes as it is science. So the pick is in for the Tennessee Titans.
Pick is in.
Where will we go? Let's go down and listen to where Roger Goodell is going to tell us the Titans are going with the 5th overall pick in the first round.
With the 5th pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Corey Davis, wide receiver from Western Michigan.
Wow. Definitely.
And there it is. Corey Davis, arguably the most accomplished receiver ever in FBS out of Western Michigan. The only player ever with 300 receptions, 5,000 receiving yards, and 50 touchdown catches in his career. He got one offer coming out of high school from a D1 school. It was Western Michigan. The concerns for him were about the ankle injury. He had to repair 2 torn ligaments from a high ankle sprain. Apparently the Titans say they don't have any concerns.
You can look at Corey Davis, you figure with the ankle injury not allowing him to run for the clock, guys, that maybe he would drop just a bit. But he was arguably the best receiver in the draft up there with Michael Williams from Clemson. John Ross with the durability concerns out of Washington, despite having that 4.22 speed, will drop a little bit. You watch him here. He's nearly 6'3", 6'2 3/4. There's about 210 pounds, has good length, good catch radius. And watch him here after the catch. This is where Corey Davis is at his best. He's an effective stiff arm, really able to make defenders miss. And you see the speed there. So while he didn't run for the clock, I think what John Robinson, the GM, is saying, hey, I saw that speed on tape on game day. And you watch him there make that one-handed catch. An issue with Corey Davis was an occasional drop of a catchable ball. Now, I think that's something that you look at back Jordan Matthews with the Eagles, good player, but drops an occasional ball that's catchable. Corey Davis will do the exact same thing. More consistency coming out of the Mid-American Conference, level of comp, somewhat of a concern, and then the ankle injury. I'll tell you what, take him this high, it's a bit of a roll of the dice, but on talent, he could be Marcus Mariota's #1 option down the road.
Well, he posted a video on Twitter and Instagram of him running routes just to show people. He told us when he was here on NFL Live last week that he's at about 85% of this. He mentioned the drops. Everybody's going to drop some. What do you like about his route running?
Just about everything, Trey. If I could run,
that would be good.
Run the entire route tree, and you'll see it here. And it starts at the line of scrimmage. The guy can just beat press. I have him here as a comparison to Amari Cooper in terms of body type-wise. And you see Amari can just break people down at the line of scrimmage. You saw Corey Davis do that, whether he was at the X, whether he was at the Z, or the E. He will beat people at the line of scrimmage, and then he will put his foot in the ground, and he will become a runner quickly, which is one of the things that you're going to see here that Amari Cooper was known for at Alabama. On these kind of rocket screens and tunnel screens, bubble screens, could he become a runner after the catch and create those big plays where you didn't need the quarterback to necessarily throw the ball down the field? Corey Davis did this. He did it all year long. You'll see it right here again on the highlight. Same kind of play you just saw from Amari Cooper. And then watch him turn on the Jets. I know he hasn't run a 40 on the clock, but that looks plenty fast to me, and obviously that looks plenty fast to John Robinson. Because what? That's the only reason why you take him this high, considering that he hadn't run a 40 at this point.
John, he now joins Randy Moss as the only 2 MAC wide receivers to ever go in the first round. And if you're on a wide receiver list, I don't care what it is, and it's you and Randy Moss, that's good, but you have some concerns.
Well, I like the receiver a lot. I get to show all the negatives. The only negative I can find is he does have some lapses, and concentration on the lines is one of them. I think he can be a great receiver, but he's got to catch it before he runs with it. Sometimes he tries to do too much
But this is a very talented, highly competitive receiver that knows how to get open and play the position. But he's got to be more consistent and eliminate some of these concentration drops. That's the only flaw you can find in this young man. I wish I knew exactly what he ran, but he's got a huge upside.
Obviously, John Robinson, the GM of Tennessee, feels pretty good about it. So here are the first 5 picks of the draft. Garrett, #1 overall for the Browns. The Bears trade up. Is Trubisky going to be the guy that ends that Pro Bowl streak at some point? Solomon Thomas and then a couple of skill players, Leonard Fournette and Corey Davis, the wide receiver, goes to the Tennessee Titans. So that means the New York Jets are on the clock at 6. They need help at quarterback. They need help in other areas. The offense wasn't great. Sal Palantonio is with the Jets. Sal, what are you hearing about the Jets' plans now at 6?
Trey, real quick, when I talked to Todd Bowles, the head coach earlier, the New York Jets, he told me this is exactly how they hoped it would work out. His #1 player, he thought, was Jamal Adams, the back-end safety who could clean up their problems that they had all year long at the safety position. They also love O.J. Howard, tight end out of Alabama. He thinks he could be a Pro Bowl tight end immediately. But Mike McCagan, the GM of the Jets, told me that, Trey, he said his phone has been ringing off the hook. Everybody's fishing for the 6th pick. They are sitting in the catbird seat right now, Trey.
All right, Sal, thanks very much. And there you see Jamal Adams in the green room picking up the phone. Certainly seems like that was a heavy sigh of relief for Jamal Adams. I'm not trying to tell you what I know. I'm just telling you what I think we saw there. It certainly looks like Jamal Adams felt like sometimes it just plays out that way. Jamal Adams going to the Jets, if that's the case, would certainly seem to be what we've seen constantly from the Jets, going defense in this draft early.
Yeah. Trey. I mean, they gave up 30 touchdowns last year and only had 8 interceptions last year as a defense. And they had coverage bust after coverage bust, plus 20-yard play after plus 20-yard play. And it's just not acceptable. You can't win that way in the NFL. I don't care what division you're in, what conference you're in. I don't care who you're playing. And they play in a division where they have a quarterback that can pretty much air it out on anybody. So you better get somebody who at the command and control center can calm things down. Jamal Adams can calm things down.
Well, their best safety, Marcus Gilchrist, suffered a terrible injury. I don't think he's going to be ready to play this year.
Right.
Todd Bowles is an ex-safety himself, defensive coach. They're going to take a safety here. Why would you take O.J. Howard if you're a Jet? They don't even throw the ball to the tight end. Did they complete
maybe that's the problem
last year?
Maybe that's the problem, right?
No, they're taking Jamal Adams to be a stellar pick, I think, for New York. He has that New York style of play. He's a lot like Rodney Harrison, sideline to sideline finisher. I would love to see him as a Jet.
And needs everywhere for the New York Jets. I mean, they could go any direction. And Jamal Adams, John, you had a #1 on your board. I got a #3. Where'd you have him, Lewis?
Oh, you know he was 1 for me, buddy.
There you go.
You know it.
Well, Jamal Adams, if this is the pick, and we don't know if it is Jamal Adams, this would be very interesting because he would be a first-round pick to a team in New York. His father, back in 1985, was a first-round pick of the New York Giants in 1985, a running back out of Kentucky. So if it is indeed Jamal Adams, it would be a quite neat family story here with Jamal literally following his father's footsteps, different team, but in the same city, and of course they would be playing the Giants and Jets as they do at MetLife in the same stadium. We are waiting for the Schner. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Jets do after this pick because they do still need a lot of help on offense.
Yeah, they need help all over the place. They need help on the offensive line, and they'll tight end without a doubt is a position. I do believe that they haven't really thrown the ball and utilized that position because they don't think they have anybody that they can really count on. O.J. Howard's going to go somewhere. All the tight ends in this draft are going to go somewhere pretty high, and they're going to have great careers. They could have used one of those too. But hey, look, Coach Gruden talks about it all the time. You better have people who are talking to the team, and you better address those positions. That's why you have to address this position now.
Here we go. Let's find out now.
Pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Jamal Adams.
Defensive end expected when we saw the protocol.